Hello, welcome to Wendy's Colouring, and this is my end of the month finished pages video. I'm a little bit late. Sorry. I've just had a big birthday. So yeah, a little bit of my free time was taken up with enjoying myself. So although this pile was ready to film, yeah, for one reason and another, I just haven't got to it till today. So yeah, I am a little bit late, but I have got a few to show you. So we'll crack on. Let's move that out of the way and start off with one that was not in my colouring plans, but this is such a little handy book. It's so useful to be able to chuck in a bag and take with you. I thought, yes, that's exactly what I did. I chuck it in a bag, took it to work, it's been back and forth a few times. So Hairballs by Art Therapy. Is it a Hatchet Heroes book? It is a Hatchet Heroes book by Diane Defoe. I think this is a great little book. This was a present. I think it was a Christmas present. And yeah, I'm really loving it. Paper in this it's pretty good. I'm quite impressed with it. So I've done this little page. Shift that off. So I don't need that. Yeah, I was really just tempted to see what the oops, that's me trying not knock my light out of the way. Just tempted to see what the paper was like, really, having a play in it. So yeah, the background, the green, is all watercolour paint. It's my little, I have like a travel set, a little Daily Rowley Aquafine watercolour set, and the green is all that. And obviously there's quite a bit of that green, and I was a bit worried that it would all warp the page, but yeah, it's been fine. It's a little bit, because obviously I've used watercolour on it, but you know, this is, for such a little book, I think this is it's pretty good paper, and it's taken it quite well. I have worked over a little bit just where I just wanted to add a little bit more shadow. I think this is mainly luminance, because it's my little old sets that are all stubby little things that I've got at work. And a little bit of Artex just to finish off a few lines here and there, but not very much. It's mainly just watercolour and my luminance pencils, and yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Simple little page, cute little fur balls on it, and yeah, I was enjoying it so much. I thought, you know what, we'll do another page as well. So I did. So I've done this one as well. Again, the same watercolours in the background, same pencils, because that's all I've got with me at work. And yeah, another one that I'm really quite pleased with. Fun little dog page. Looks nothing like my dog. Does look like the dog that lives across the road from me. But it's standing still, so it's definitely not the dog across the road from me, because she likes to run, the dog, across the road. She's full of beans. But yeah, quite enjoyed it. And ahed about doing a bit of a painted number on the background, but in the end decided I'll just leave it white. So yeah, got 2 little pages done out of here this month that I'm quite pleased with. And yeah, I think this is going to be my travelling book, more than likely, for the future, because there's some cracking little fun little pages in here. It's only a little 6x6, quite easy to get little ones done in it. I really enjoyed working in it. Balls of Fur by Hatchet Heroes. Lovely little book. Move my little bookmark out the way. Then this one was a buddy colour with K. I'll pop K's on now, because this is a wide book and I'm not going to be able to get them both on the same page. So yeah, K's lovely. We've done these ones quite different, I think. I really did. I love K's clouds in hers. It has a much more kind of alien planet vibe than mine does. But yeah, thanks Kay. I don't honestly think I'd have started in this book had she not said, oh, let's do a buddy colour in this. And I did chicken out a bit and pick a fairly easy page for this book, but I'm still glad it's kind of made me start in it, because it is a lovely book, but the things in it are so small. Some kind of townscapes. I don't know what it's called. I keep meaning to look it up and I totally forget. If you want to look it up, it would help if my camera would focus on the ISBN. That would be helpful. Let me see if I can get it too. Yep, there you go. So ISBN is there if you want to try and find it, and you can't. It will be in one of my colouring hauls somewhere. Might be in November or October. If you want to try and find it, it'll be linked in that video. So. But this one is my version of it. again, let's move that out of the way. In fact, let's put them back in the drawer because I'll only lose them. And yeah, this is slightly strange paper. I did chicken out on anything kind of water-based, and it does have, I don't know if you, how well you can, or you can kind of see, it is perforated, which I've got to be honest, I did find a little bit annoying, because as you can kind of see, the more you colour on it, the worse that perforation gets. I'm never going to take them out of my book, so I kind of don't want them perforated, but yeah, everything is, hence why I did this little, again, camera not onto focus, there we go. Everything is so tiny in this book, little tiny, helps have a bit of light on the situation, wouldn't it? Little tiny little things to try and colour on this page, and this really, for this book, is quite an easy page to try and colour on, because all the other ones have got, oh, hello, try and get in focus, because that's not much use, is it, without, everything else is quite small in this book. Like, this page looks amazing, but it's going to take me all month, and my eyes are going to be killing me. But I did enjoy this page. It was quite a little bit different. So it felt like a lot of sky when I was first setting off trying to colour it, and yeah, I really wasn't sure what to do with it. But this is all in Black Widows. I suppose because I wanted a pencil that I knew was going to kind of keep a reasonably sharp point to get in some of this, because yeah, obviously I love my Holbeins, but sharp point, that is not their speciality, and these things are tiny. I did and ah about doing it in kind of fine liners, but obviously I do like to shade and tone, and that's tricky with fine liners. You can do it, but it's certainly not my speciality. So I've gone with Black Widows, so then did all of this, and then just carried on like an idiot doing the background in Black Widows. And I was like, I didn't need to have stayed in those for this background. Why did I colour all this background in Black Widows? But I did. It was a little bit liney. It wasn't as smooth as I liked, so I did use my Derwent blender pen in the background just to kind of smooth it down a bit. I think I did do a couple of layers in the end, because I wasn't totally happy with it, so a little bit more colouring, bit more blending, bit more colouring, bit more blending, that kind of battle. But overall, I'm really quite pleased with it. It had this kind of, I think it's Cancer, isn't it? The star sign thing drawn in. I don't know if they have them on another, probably don't have them on another page, but I wasn't totally sure what to do with these, but I have just used my Posca white to do it with. Bit of Artex paint pen, as usual, and I've put a bit of Signo sparkling gold on my list, but now I'm thinking about it. Oh yeah, it's in the clouds a little bit. Here, oh yeah, there's some in the foreground and in the whale as well. Don't know how well you'll be able to pick it up really, because there's just tiny little spots of it. But yeah, the only downside, I think, as you can see, Black Widows, it does leave a little bit of wax sheen that from certain angles you can kind of see that more than kind of the sparkling things, can't you? But yeah, really pleased to have got this page done. Thank you very much to Kay, kind of persuading me to work in here. Yeah, it's quite strange paper. I'm not sure what I think about it. I would like to be able to test out a little bit of watercolour, but all the pages are actually colour pages, so in order to test it, I'm going to have to sacrifice a page, I think, in order to do it. But yeah, it's a little quirky book, is this one. It's certainly not for people with bad vision. I think that is definitely what I'll say. But there's some lovely pages in it. It is a really lovely book. Interesting, and obviously you get the coloured little bits in it. But yeah, I think it's townscapes of some description. I'll get a proper translation for it next time I use this book, because it's just silly. But yeah, first page in that. Got another first page done. Hurrah! This was also a first page. I've not had this very long. Mystery Island by Coco Wyo. I think this is such a cute little book. So yeah, I was really quite looking forward to it. I think this was my first page this month, actually, because I was just like, yay, I want to work in it, so I'm gonna. Let me get rid of that in the drawer. And yeah, I did this page. So, is she a frog? Lizard? Dunno. I liked her because she had this little sulky slug. Snail. Whatever it is, snail, isn't it? But yeah, My dog likes to be held like that in your arms. She takes up the whole space, but this is her favourite position. But this did amuse me. You've got this little, he's proper sulky little snail in her arms, and obviously there's an owl, so how could I not do it? It was just cute. Nice little bit of flowers in it. And I quite like these little 8x8 books. They're not too big, don't take ages. You can really focus on the detail a little bit and not feel like it's taking you all year, which some pages do take me a long time. But yeah, I've enjoyed this book. I have no doubt you'll be seeing it again pretty soon. This is all in Holbein's pencils, all coloured in Holbein's. I think there's just something about this page that I really wanted to go bright and colour, and probably because it's January and it's grey and miserable here in Manchester. So yeah, I wanted it nice and bright. Holbein's Artex paint pens, again, not a huge amount of them. And a little bit of sparkling Signo Silver, which now, oh yeah, a little bit in the sky, in the little dots in the sky. But yeah, I really quite enjoyed this little page. It was fun. It's a good little quirky book. I was going to do one of these with the axolotl in, but yeah, somehow that little snail just made me do that one instead. Mystery Island by Coco Wyo. And then because I'd worked in that one, I thought, well, I can't work in that one and not work in the other one that I got at the same time. So Magic Diary by Coco Wyo. And again, I thought, yes, we'll do another one of these. So this is another first for me, first time in this book. I've kind of not gone exactly, because it's quite subtle the way they've shaded it on the front. I've kind of gone bright again because I wanted it bright. This is all in Artex. So my Artex 126 pencils and a little bit of Artex paint. So it's a fully Artex page. And yeah, it was quite interesting to see the difference between the two, really, in terms of how the colours worked in a very similar palette. I think the Holbein's is a little bit brighter, but let's be honest, the price difference between these two pencils is huge. I do enjoy using my Artex. I'll probably carry on in one of these books using my Artex. They work quite nicely on this paper. I think they do like a little bit of texture, and this cheaper Coco Wyo paper kind of suits them a little bit. I've not basted this at all. You could have done, obviously, but I didn't. I've just gone in full pencil mode because I enjoy that. But yeah, another page that I really quite enjoyed at the beginning of the month. Fairly quick to work on. Quite pleased with it. Magic Diary by this lamb. I don't know what she is, but Magic Diary by Coco Wyo. Then I kind of felt like I needed to get some whips done this month because I've had a few hanging over my head, and I thought, no more. I need to start ticking some of these off. I've not got them all done that I would have liked to, but I have got this page finally. I think this has been a whip for like a year now. It might even be longer. Too long anyway, certainly. And I'm sick of opening this book and not seeing it finished. So yeah, I finally got this seahorse page completely finished. Thank goodness. Considering when I looked at this as a whip, I had the sea lions to do. I'd done a little bit of the fish and I'd done some of this background, but it didn't feel like there was a lot to do. But it still took this book just takes me so long. It's a beautiful book, but I just get lost. There's so much little detail in these pages that I just get totally and utterly lost in the detail of them. They just seem to take over. And then before you know it, I've done like a 50 fish and nothing else, and nothing gets done. I'd started this in Albert Dürer's originally, all the little details, and I've done a bit more in Albert Dürer's, but I've also used my luminance as well in the coloured pencil bits, just because it was a bit quicker really. And yeah, I'd got to the point where I thought I think it's had enough water on it, so I'm just going to use normal pencils on it. It's had Artex paint pens as usual, as most things do. Obviously it's got metallic watercolour background. I have done bit more coats here and there in the background because it was a little bit patchy in places, and some of it around this area it seemed very light. I'm not sure whether it's worn the metallic off or I did it lighter to begin with, because it's a long standing whip. I wasn't sure, but yeah, I've layered some more on. They're just my own watercolour paints that I've made. There's a video on it, ooh, way back, way, probably you'll have to go back a few pages, I think, in my videos if you want to see it, but there is a video on how I made my watercolour paints if you want to have a look. It makes a mess, it takes a long time, you've got to be patient, but it does give, as you can see on here, there's some quite nice paints that I'm pretty pleased with, and obviously it saved me a bit of money. But yeah, that's pretty much it really, just a bit of paint pen, bit more luminance, bit more Albert Dürer, bit more metallic watercolour. I think that's it really for the whole of this page, but it now gives me, I've finally done a double in this book that I'm quite pleased with. So the two of these, it's only taken me about a year and a half to finish this page, but finally got there in the end. So I'm quite happy that I've ticked that off. I've still got another one because I started that one and I've still got the other side to do. That's not getting done this month though, because that's enough for me in Circle of Life for this little bit of time by Mel Panini, Chatipani G2. Lovely book though, such lovely drawings. And then other whips that I still had ongoing. So in Daydreams by Hannah Carlson, I've had, oh yes, we'll do that one now. I've had this again, a long-standing whip for a long time. I think I'd put a layer of the paint on the background, and that's it. That's as far I'd got. Maybe I'd done a little bit of the leaves, I don't remember. But the owls, maybe I had one owl. I might have started on this middle owl, I think. The owls have been left again. I think this was even longer than a year. This, I don't know why, because I normally quite like owls, but I think it's because it's double, and Hannah takes me ages, and everything takes me ages. Let's be honest. Did I have down a list of what I've done? Oh yeah, I have. Because now I'm like, I can't remember what I've done. Certainly, background again is my own watercolours, and I think I did go over once it was dry. I don't know if you can kind of see, there's a little bit of background glitter. Yeah, you can kind of just about see it there. That is one of the Art Spirits glitter paints over the top of my normal watercolours, so it's just one of those that has, I don't think it's a fully clear base, but it doesn't have much colour in it, so just to kind of see the glitter on it. I was interested to see how well the glitter stays on, and it pretty much does. I'm pretty impressed with it as a watercolour paint. So yeah, background obviously all metallic watercolours. The birds are a mixture of luminance and Holbeins, obviously a bit of Artex paint pen and a bit of Posca. But yeah, I've really enjoyed working on the birds. I think they've finished off quite nicely. I've kind of chickened out on the feathers. As you can see on him, I was kind of doing a bit of texture on him, but these ones I didn't. I kind of just thought, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy colouring them with colour and not worry about texture and trying to do anything too complicated. I just want to enjoy it for what it is, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with it now. I think it's a nice page. I've not done a huge amount in this book, so it's nice to get a double done. And yeah, overall, quite pleased with it. Do like doing an hour or two. But yeah, page in Daydreams by Hannah Carlson. Then the other whip that I've got, just knocked my mat, and I didn't want to because it drives me nuts if it's not straight. Magical Dawn, I've had a whip in this. I think this is even longer than a year again. It's been driving me nuts, but I've just not been able to persuade myself to do it. So this side, I think I just got the background in. So the backgrounds I did in gelatos when I did the background for this page. It's also gelatos. And yeah, I got something on it like here. It's probably one of these purple colours. So that it did annoy me. Tried rubbing it out with a rubber. It's lighter than it was, but I don't know. For me, I was just finding it, yeah, that's annoying. I don't want to work on that page now because I've done that. But I thought, no, this is stupid. Get over yourself. So yeah, worked back into it. Luminance and Holbeins again for the flowers and the leaves. Artex again. And a bit of Calero metallic paint. Just, yeah, in between the flowers and the centres in here. There's just a little bit of Calero in. Not used my Caleros a huge amount yet. They're fairly new to me, but yeah, they're lovely paints. And just wanted a little bit. I think I just felt it needed a little bit more on there. So yeah, another double finished in here that I'm quite pleased with. Glad to have got another one ticked off the list in my whip pile. Then, you might have remembered this from my colouring plans. You might not. You might have seen it in one of my hauls. I bought this just at Carnival book, second hand from eBay. Carnival by Sarah Walsh. Lovely book. Really pleased with it. But when I bought this book, it said, yeah, no, it's fine. It's great. There's no damage. But there was this page. I'm going to add it on now because, wow. And I was and ahhing. This book has perforations inside, so you can just rip pages out. And there was a big, huge chunk of me that was like, what am I going to do with this bright orange face and its attractive blue neck? What am I going to do with that? Because that is not going to be an easy fix. And it was not an easy fix at all. This was a hard page. And I did get halfway through this and thought, I'm just going to rip this page out because this is taking far too long. It is far more effort than any page should require. I think the orange face was felt tip pen, and felt tip pen that runs when you try and get it wet. And yeah, it was a nightmare. But I've eventually got to this point that's reflecting quite horribly on the screen, which is not helpful, is it? We'll try and do it like that, I think. Yeah, it was not easy. Get from there to there. I'm not honestly so super happy with it as it is. Her face, well, her face has had some work. Let's be honest. She's we'll get rid of orange face. She's yeah, I tried quite a few things on it. Tried some acrylic paint on it, and the orange was just so bright it just would not be gone. So by the time, once you put one acrylic paint on, you're kind of stuck in it, aren't you? And there just wasn't enough pigment, I think, in the acrylic paint to hide the orange enough, so I still couldn't work over it with colour pencils. So then I had to put more coats of acrylic paint on, which then makes it really difficult to do anything with colour pencils. So then I had to actually do the whole face painted with acrylic paint. I am not a painter, not at all. I don't find painting with acrylic paint for portraits easy. It was a bit of a learning curve, let's just put it that way. And like I say, it's a bit patchy. I think it does look more patchy on camera than it does in real life. It looks a little bit paler, I think, in real life. But yeah, it was tricky, and obviously she's got a very shiny face because of it. I had to paint the neck out because that had that navy blue on her neck. I suppose I could have kept it, but I wasn't loving it. The green, I kind of kept the colour, but obviously it was very vivid, and the same with this little bit of a headdress. I think that was bright red, or her eyes were bright red as well. Those took quite a few coats to try and get rid of that bright red. All in all, this page was so painful this month to work on. But you kind of get so... At the point where I was painting her face, I was kind of like, right, well, I'm going to try and paint it. It might be a complete and utter disaster. And at that point, I'll just have to take the page out because there was just no losing it at that point. I thought, well, it can't get much worse. So even if it's a disaster, I may as well give it a go at this point. Anyway, all the leaves and the flowers and those bits are luminance, tiny bit of Holbein. Earrings I think it had felt tip purple in the earrings, but I kind of just went with that. I thought I'll not make life too difficult and just go with it. She had attractive brown ears that were also quite tricky to try and do anything with. Oh. All in all, this page has pushed me to my limits this month. I've obviously used a bit of metallic watercolour. I think I've used some of my Colouring Brittany. Is that what it's called? Let me find the thing. Yeah, this lady. Colouring Brittany's paints. I've had them a while, actually. One of the earliest handmade metallic paints that I'd ordered when I didn't really know what I was doing on Etsy, if I'm totally honest. And I hadn't realised she was in the US. So I obviously paid a lot more for shipping than I would pay for a more local handmade maker. But the paint is beautiful. And if I was in the US, I would buy some of her paints because she has some very nice paints. But yeah, the metallics background is hers. There's two different colours. It has kind of had I think it's the paper on this book, but this one's kind of almost behaved a little bit like it's a granulating metallic. It kind of felt quite smooth, and then it separated itself, but I actually don't mind it. I quite like the effect. And then I think it was a bit of the art spirits for the kind of silvery metallic that's in her dress. So I'm calling it saved-ish. I'm not loving the face. Trying to get her eyelashes back in was tricky over the top of the acrylic because everything was just reacting quite well. It's waterproof, isn't it? So everything was reacting quite badly. I think in the end I did use one of my Pit pens. It's like a grey shade. They're a little bit thicker eyelashes than I would like, but pencil wouldn't make a mark really on it anymore, so I've kind of had to go with what would work on it. So all in all, it's better than Orange Face. And I feel I can work in this book now and not have to worry about her. I can do a different page and start from scratch because she was the only save I've needed to do in here. So I just had Carnival by Sarah Walsh. I think it is sadly out of print, but there are second-hand ones around. Just check that you aren't getting a bright orange face first. Ridiculous. And then my last one this month that this one's taken a bit longer than I thought it would take. I thought it would be fairly quick, but it has taken me a bit longer. So Wonderful Little World 2 by Cullier, lovely book. And I've gone for this very first page, wherever it's gone, not the intro pages. I rarely do an intro page. But yeah, this has taken me quite a while, and I'm still kind of looking at it thinking, oh, it kind of feels like it still needs a bit more on it really, but I'm calling it done for now because it's taken me so long and I'm out of time with it this month, so I'm calling it done, even though there's bits that I kind of, I'd like to work into their faces a little bit more. This is in Spectrum Noir Tri-Brush, so all alcohol markers for all of it, all over. And then I've just used various acrylic paint pens over the top of that. So I've used my Artex, obviously. Some of my Deca Brush by Karen, when I can get them to work. If I'm honest, I think some of the leaf work could do with a bit more pencil work into it. I've done like a few little bits of pencil just in some of the flowers, and I think that's the problem I've had with this page, in that there's a lot of leaves. I just feel like there's leaves everywhere, and yeah, I did get a bit over doing leaves, I think. When I'm looking at them, I kind of feel like, right, I need to go back in and do a little bit more in some of these areas because you kind of lost the shape on them a little bit, but I think my patience for it has gone this month, so I may go back in and do a little bit more, but for this month I'm calling it as done as it's getting this month. But yeah, mainly all in marker of various different types. I did my little slug. Still can't decide whether he's eyeing up the biscuits or eyeing up the hedgehogs, because he seems to be a bit of a giant slug, doesn't he? So is he getting slug revenge for them eating all his friends? Who knows? It's just a bit of a silly page, isn't it, really? But yeah, second page done in my lovely Cullier book. Probably going to pop up again this next month, I think. Not had to think about it yet, but yeah, there's some lovely pages in here, and thankfully not quite so many leaves on some of the other pages. But yeah, my second page in Colourful Little... I can't talk. Wonderful Little World 2 by Cullier. Lovely book. And yeah, that is finally it for this month. My selection for January. Quite pleased I've got some whips done out the way. I kind of feel like, whoop, yep, making some progress with the whips. I've got a big whip to do in Serene. I've got that whip that I've just showed you in Circle of Life, and I've got a whip in Kirby Rosanna's as well that I think I'm probably going to work on it in February, but I shall talk you through all of those in my colouring plans and what else I'm going to have a go at in the next video. But that is certainly all the things that I've got done this month. Didn't do too bad really, considering I had a quiet December and I didn't get so many done. I kind of feel like I've done quite a few this month. Hurrah! I've enjoyed this month, and I think that's the most important thing, because they're quite different pages, some quite different challenges, and some things I've found a bit more tricky, but still kind of kept on and kept battling through it, so I'm quite pleased with them. Which one did you like best? Always interested to know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying your colouring. Bye bye.